I'm Bud Doughton, and I'm here with Garry Brown. And Mason Williams, unfortunately, was not able to be here due to a conflict in Raleigh. But we're here with the Cape Lookout Foundation. We're in the process of restoring the 1917 Coast Guard station on Cape Lookout and turning it back into an education environmental center, very similar or as to what Keith Rittmaster ran in the 90s and up into 2000. So I think he was out there about 17 years. And our family was inspired by what he did, and the Keith's program was shut down because the infrastructure at the Coast Guard station was deteriorating to the point where the Park Service didn't feel that it was safe for the public, and which was true. Bob Vogel did a deep dive into that and understood that we needed to shut it down. So we started working on a lease for that, and we were able to work out a 20-year lease with Jeff West, and we're in the process of bringing the Coast Guard station into the 20th century so that we will be able to have kids to come out, programs, that sort of thing. It's not a bed and breakfast. It's not a summer camp for rich kids. It is a program where we're reaching out to Title I kids, to Boy Scouts, Young Life groups, and so we're putting it together. As like most things on Cape Lookout, I think we're about 6 months behind schedule on construction, which on Cape Lookout is actually ahead of schedule. But we're getting ahead. A lot of tremendous local support. Lowe's Building Supply has been absolutely fabulous. They have really helped us. They volunteered. They've helped us procure materials, as other people, Leonard Seyfert, and so we've been very pleased with that. And we expect to have the galley, which we have for educational programs. Gary's already run 3 programs in the source of a test about how do we do it, but that part of it for where we can have day education programs is very shortly. We're in the process of having that open probably in the next 30 days. The station itself for overnight most likely will be in 2027 as we're trying to tidy up all the loose ends out there. And we're all praying there will be no hurricanes so that we don't have any delay. That's kind of where we are. We have a great board. One of the board members, Randall Williams, is sitting in the back here watching what we say. And
raise your hand, Rick.
That's right. You got it in the back here. I'm vice president. Mason Williams is the president. I have a local board. And then Garry Brown is director of all our programs, formerly director of the, well, Garry, I'll let you tell him. I might miss it. You tell him what you did over there with Camp Seagull.
I was at Camp Seagull 40 years through camper. I went through all their programs and as a camper and a trainee and junior counselor, senior counselor director. And then I was director of the outpost down here up from the sanitary. Many of you all probably seen my buses used to run by. I was the guy driving those buses. And when I retired, I was going to step away and not do a whole lot. But then I met this guy, and he talked me into coming back. And so we're going to provide part of my dream package because Bud kept asking me that. And I said, well, just build your dream. And I said, okay. So he came up with a lot of good ideas and a lot of activities and structure for the education center out on the Cape to really give back to the community and come after kids that I was amazed because I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina, but I'm really from Minnesota Beach on the other side near Arapahoe because that's where I was every summer. And it surprised me of the number of kids and families that live in Carteret County that didn't even know that was out there. They've heard about it and they've seen it in pictures, but they've never been down the historic road and seen all the houses and and of course it was in very, very bad shape in the last 3 years, and it's come a long way because of the push of this guy and a guy named Mason Williams, who was not here, of course. But we're trying to bring that back and bring the whole historic district back, do it the right way, and we're going to have a lot of programs We're tying in with the community college through the Aqua program, through Noah, who was out there yesterday, and we're going to create some very good educational programs that have some bite to it. In other words, you're going to actually learn something. And the Park Service is, of course, the Park Service, and we're getting along with them, and everything is moving very slowly. But I'm very excited about it, excited to be involved with it, and I think it's going to be a great thing.
How do y'all fund this?
Well, we've had private fundraising. We have basically two types of fundraising. We have the infrastructure program, which we basically had a silent program where we reached out. When I initially started this, try to get a board together, all the people have asked me, how did you get this board together? And I said, well, interesting enough, every single board member, with the exception of one, came to me. Mm-hmm. They all said, hey, if you're doing this, I'm in. The only exception was Kirk Price, who was a good friend of mine in Raleigh. And it took about a minute to tell Kirk what we were doing, because he surfed with us out of the Cape. And it took 1 minute to get Kirk on board. So other than that, all the board members have contributed, and then we've gone around to different foundations and to people that are active in the community that are aware of it, and that's how we've done the fundraising. And so we're fundraising to get the infrastructure up, and then there will be fundraising separate from that to run programs. I'm supposed to speak with the Lookout Rotary with Maggie Chalk later this month, and I told her earlier, I said, Maggie, when I was a member of the Lookout Rotary, when I lived down here, one of the things you were always looking for were programs. And I said, we will come and ask for y'all if you would sponsor a local group to go out to the Cape. So that will be our next fundraising for that, to try to get to have people grants or Rotary, Shriners, any of those, if they have a program to help promote and to cover the cost. I think all of y'all know it's Cape Lookout, everything is 3 times more expensive, not to mention getting there. And so one of the, when we talked with Jeff West, who I cannot say enough nice things about, I really can't. I mean, he helped us get through the red tape. He helped us understand where the bumps in the road were. But one of the things he told us right up front when we were putting the lease together was, you have to make this project financially viable. He said, if you don't, it will fail. He said, I've seen a lot of programs where groups have come in and they want their financing to be based on future fundraising. Mm-hmm. And what he said, and it's true, I've seen, he said, in 5 years, the people you have, they'll be on another program. So Gary had to put together a pretty extensive financial program about how we anticipate doing, how we plan on staying alive. And so that's kind of where we are on that. But we feel we've been successful with the fundraising, and we feel we'll be successful with programs. There are a lot of organizations out there and environmental groups and educational groups that are actually looking for opportunities for kids, particularly outdoors, away from their cell phone. And you just can't beat that cell phone service. It's marginal at the light. That's right. And on a Saturday when everybody's got it turned on, it's not existent. So that's kind of where we are on fundraising. We will meet our goal for the completion of the rebuilding of the station. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we will be moving. We already received some money for programs. We've had several people come to us about it, but they're all on a calendar year. And because we're running a little bit behind, we'll miss this year, but they're all in for next year. But Gary is much more abreast of that than I am, but that's kind of where we are on the fundraising for that. Yes, sir. Thank you. That was an easy one. Thank you.
When you mentioned, what about the other little houses? Are they, like Baby Gilman's house that's still there? The other little houses in the village, are you going to bring those up? Is that part of your plan, or is that a separate endeavor?
We're not involved with that. Okay. The Park Service, and once again, Jeff West said if these buildings aren't brought up to speed and then leased out on program, they will deteriorate. And so the Park Service is in the process of bringing these houses back up to speed. The Coca-Cola house has been completed. Mr. Yeoman's house has been turned back into, they turned it back into a boathouse. So it's not that. And then there are 4 or 5 other houses over there that they're now earnestly working on that they hope to be able to rent out for the park. But we're not involved with that.
Okay.
We've told them we will help them in any way. You can come over and have coffee with us anytime they want, brother.
Yeah.
Right.
What is your vision of the camper experience? It sounded like you said there would be day campers, there would be kids that spend the night, and there would be other groups that bring their campers there. So what do you see that looking like?
That's your question.
My question, okay.
Yeah.
That's a great question. We are not doing individual campers, number one. We're doing groups of 12 or more through institutions that partner with us to bring kids out there, like Sea Grant. And there's a whole lot of different, the community college and their boat builders were out there 2 weeks ago. And, it just depends on what they want to teach. The aqua program is very interested in helping us create a small center out there as a field house. And we will incorporate that into our programs. Also, we'll do Y Guys and Princesses and Young Life. There's all kinds of different programs that Bud and Mason and I will choose to bring out, and all the way down to Troop 252. And there's a whole lot of, the bridge. We're going to be very involved with them down east, but they all contract through us to bring their programs to us. And we basically have the program. So in other words, if you're a teacher, all you have to do is get to us. And you don't have to bring anything. You don't have to lug anything. You don't have to bring any chairs. You don't have to bring anything. And we're going to be a turnkey, I call it an adventure camp, basically. And it's going to be chock full of different programs that we provide, my staff provides 24/7 usually. We'll do some overnight programs, with Boys and Girls Clubs and people like that. We'll see what happens. But, right now we're in the infant stage, so we're still building and growing and deciding exactly what we want to do. So, because it is a different area out there.
That was the next question.
Yeah.
Who gets them out there?
Basically,
what boat to
Basically, we have a ferry system, which everybody's aware of. I work through George and his ferry system, and also his trucks. He's a concessionaire, so we work through him also with all of our food, and we have everything out there catered. We're not doing any cooking, so it's pretty regimented, which we're excited about. We can't just have food brought out there without, we're a safe serve place, and you have a whole lot of different hoops to jump through. Our beautiful board member back in the back corner sort of has leaned into that a little bit and make sure we're, and that's what I love about this project. We have so many friends that we know, just want to help us. They want to help out and they want to contribute. And, for the first time in my life, I'm saying yes, because I was always the boots on the ground guy at camp, and all of a sudden now I'm looking it up and everybody knew me, but I didn't really know them. Now it's a whole different game for me, and it's very exciting. Yes.
What are the costs involved in segregating a group of 12?
The cost of basically is custom. It depends on the food that you get, the programs that you pick out, the extra activities that you pick out, and then we come up with a custom price. But then they're going to start anywhere from $80 and go up to $250. Depends on what you want.
Per camp.
Yeah, per camper. Yeah, some people want filet mignon. Some people want flounder. Some people want 3 to a room instead of 6 to a room. We do have 4 bedrooms. They're being totally redone. They're going to have a bathroom in each bedroom. It'll sleep 6 people total, which is, if you think of camp, There's 3 twin bunks, top and bottom, except we're going to have, because we're all getting up there, we're going to have very good mattresses, very nice pillows that support a lot of weight. So we've been there too. So we're very excited about it. It keeps opening. It's almost like it just keeps opening every week, like the stargazers and the nighttime. Nighttime out there is just drop dead gorgeous because there's just no lights. You almost feel like the stars are on top of the deck. And we built a very massive deck that looks beautiful in between the 2 houses for viewing and stuff like that. We can sit 80 people on one of those rows, so we have plenty of space. And I invite all of y'all to come out. And if you want to do that, we can make that happen. We sure can.
And one of the things talking about the structure is that we've air conditioned it.
Yeah, everything is air conditioned.
Everything is air conditioned. Each room will have the floor units that exhaust out the window, not hang out the window, but they exhaust out the window. Because it's a National Historic Site, we can't change the exterior, but we've got that set up. Then our galley is set up. Trent air conditioning has helped us with the air conditioning. We have some mini splits, but we have the floor units in the room, which are very economical. And in the old days, everybody said, "Well, why do you need air conditioning?" Well, let's face it, we're all addicted. And the heat out there is just so oppressive.
I'm addicted.
Right. We all are. I'm addicted. I mean, we spend time and the Park Service has already asked us. We have a downstairs room that we'll have available, sort of for volunteers and stuff. They've already asked us, and we put a mini split in it, if we could make that available to them for area of rescue assistance, because heat exhaustion has become such a problem on the Cape. And they said, we need to get them someplace very quickly. And I said, well, as long as you put the IV in them or something, you're welcome to the cool room. I said, but those are the things that we're starting to think about. And of course, where we are is where the area is the concrete slab there, so that in the event that there is a major disaster, Mr. Williams will fly in with Pedro and fly out anybody that's injured.
Within 10 minutes.
Yes, so we're going to work with the Hurricane Island Rescue Squad. We're going to do some trial runs about practice, and then that's one of the areas where we're just really excited about bringing the Boy Scouts in. I mean,
it's going to be good.
I mean, we want to see if the Coast Guard, some of y'all go to the Cape know that Coast Guard cutter comes into the hook of the Cape about once or twice a month. And we want to go over there and talk to the captain and say, would you send 3 or 4 dressed people over, you can have lunch, and we'll pick the groups, and you give a recruiting talk, about the opportunities for the, guys, keep your grades up, stay out of trouble. You've got college opportunities, and I'm sure the Coast Guard can come in and show some videos that just blow our mind of rescues and things like that. I'm probably looking more forward to that than the kids will be, but there's so many opportunities like that people want to do, and we think would just be a really good opportunity. And it doesn't involve Zooming or a phone or anything like that. So
we'll have a bag. We have a bag, and everybody's got to turn their phone in on Friday, and they don't get it back till they leave. Have your nice little name on it and all that, and we just put it up and we're trying to push against the cell phone. So many people now just want to. I tell people all the time, I charge for photos, because everybody, they just want to raise their phone up, take a photo, and we're trying to go against that in a little bit. And the Boy Scouts is just really, really good, because we have an opportunity to train for merit badges and train. I mean, we have the backdrop, and that's what they're looking for. So. And
we're also very excited about. We're working with EcoEthics Solar out of Lexington.
Yeah, that's incredible.
We're putting in solar power and energy management, and we've got backup generator provided by a Greenfield Energy out of Wilmington. Just happens to be my old roommate in college. But we that's right. Anyway, we're in a position to really show energy management, about conservation and how solar and the grid can work together and so we're just really excited about that. We've kind of got, I won't say state of the art, but we've got some of the top of the line equipment. We've made, and Mayor Francis, I'm sure will agree with this. If you go to Cape Lookout, don't take junk. You need to take good stuff, and so I'm really excited about the energy management system with the solar and generator, and how the kids need to learn to. One of the things our kids learned when we were out there with Keith is we had some smaller solar power system, but our kids learned right away to count watts and amps. And to this day, if they go buy something, the first thing they'll do is they'll turn it over and see what kind of wattage it takes.
And that'll be a backdrop for our classes.
Yeah.
This is tied into the, you can see where we're going.
No, and I think we all know that solar has, and energy management has had its challenges, but down the road, that's going to be a major opportunity for young kids to get into, whether it's improving the grid or combination of solar or whatever. That opportunity is not going to go away. Yes.
Have you considered wind?
We have, and we had a wind power generator out there at the time. We installed one in the 90s, and the pole is still there. The issue with wind is that wind loads for windmills is not linear, it's parabolic. So that most of the generators will say it'll start producing energy at 5 miles an hour. But the wind load like this goes like this, and it peaks at 26 miles an hour. That's where the real load is. I know nobody believes this, but the average wind speed on the Cape Lookout is 11 miles an hour. Now, July, it's not the case, and it's periodic.
That's on the low side.
And I've confirmed that with the Park Service, so that the generator, a wind power generator, is effective in July and in the winter, but we're not there in the winter. So we're thinking they're making big improvements in wind generators, and we would love to find somebody with a wind power generator that would contribute it as a test design, that we would keep up with it. But as far as being economical for us, it's not there yet. The solar combined with the backup generator seems to be where it is. But we still have a pole out there. If we find somebody with a good generator, we can. So we've got a 60-foot guy wired pole sitting on the ground. We will. I would love to see it back up. Keith Rittmaster had that installed.
He did.
Yeah. Yeah. So we.
How many months will you anticipate your programs will go?
March until December the 15th.
Is it only going to be kids?
No, it's kids and adults. Well, and that's the good thing, the Park Service really requested is we're also sort of a gatekeeper for them. So we sort of control our groups and control the area, so they don't have to really stress about monitoring where people are. And, even our Boy Scout camping, we'll have maps exactly where they're going to be. And we'll have campsites that are actually marked. And then I'll be on four-wheeler, or Bud will be on a four-wheeler, and we just run by and check them. And that's what, in that way, if they have any problems, we can take care of the problems. We have a direct connect to the Park Service we're very excited about. We can, it just makes things very, a lot more smooth. And I've been doing this for a long time. So it's not my first rodeo, as they say. But adults will be welcomed under certain circumstances. We'll probably do a lot of team building. We'll probably do a lot of corporate outings where corporations come out and train. We met with NOAA yesterday. They're very interested in doing that. It's just a lot of different good areas.
East Carolina has made some inquiry about having teacher
stuff. That's
teacher studies out there about teaching science programs, and so there'll be a lot.
STEM, and then training teachers to teach kids. So we're very interested in that.
A lot of the kids programs will be run through the Gallic, which will be a lot of day programs, and so the setting up for kids to stay overnight takes a tremendous more planning. So we've got, which we will have, but the chaperones that are necessary, and the parents, and one of the things that, and don't let me talk over you, Gary, but one of the things that he had suggested was take a family fishing, and that a family you could get 4 families, each of them get a room, but it's mother and son and daughter or father. The parents come with them.
It'll have structure.
And have a structure.
It's almost like somebody coming to your house. That's the way I'm looking at it. And now that I put 3 years into it, I know I'm going to be that way.
It's something like Road Scholar.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they used to come
Absolutely.
to Carteret County.
I don't know. We're getting a really lot of strong interest, which I'm very excited about. And the good thing is I have Bud and we have Mason. We have 3 of us, and we all get together and say, this is what's coming down the pipe. What do we want to do? And that's the cool thing.
The Carolina Hurricanes came to Carteret County last time they won the Stanley Cup. So if anybody can get them back, we get them out there, let them run around with the trophy, hold it up next to the lighthouse. That'd be a great picture.
That's right. That's right. And we'll have a lot of really good fundraising opportunities to, for the bridge and for local communities, and we'll be able to give back. So that's what we want to do.
Aren't you already got a group out there?
We did 3 test groups. I did a boys and girls Wednesday, and then I did a boat building class on Thursday, and then I had a bridge out there Thursday afternoon. So, yeah. And we're taking notes. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. And we take suggestions too. So, we're always looking for good ideas and suggestions.
And, and we're also timing, exact numbers. Like when you get there and how long it takes and how long you get on a boat, how long it takes you to get from the boat to the shuttle, and how long it takes you for the shuttle. And everybody knows Heber. I have to give him a shout out, but Heber Guthrie is one of our drivers, and he's unbelievable.
So they basically go to the ferry landing at the lighthouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
However, you can come in your own boat.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
That's one of the things about if a group of kids came around, all the dads or uncles or aunts or whatever, had Carolina skiffs or stuff. You can come right up at the Bardens. You're 600 yards away, so you're not fixed on having to go over on the ferry. There are other options.
And the Island Ferry Express they're incredible. But that's in their wheelhouse. So why not let them do their wheelhouse and eliminate problems with us? And we think alike, we act alike. I mean, it's incredible. I know what he's thinking is what I'm thinking, and it just works. It just works.
So if you were to have a Boy Scout troop come out,
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing what will happen would be the Scoutmaster, some period in advance, will tell everybody who wants to come up to a certain camp that they need to provide funds to the Scoutmaster. The Scoutmaster pays you all.
Yes.
And then on a specific date, the Scouts show up.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And I'm guessing if it's a day, the whole troop could theoretically come.
Whole troop could theoretically come, sure could. And that's what the Scoutmasters are thinking about. They call it separate and conquer, and they want to have half the group learning in the morning while the other half group are playing, and then they reverse, and then they eat lunch, and it's like wow. And then they by the end we'll have our outside showers and place where they can put their bags and backpacks, and we'll go all the way to tents. We're not going to get in that business, but they're very interested in asking if we're going to provide that. And that's going to be one of our board member meeting questions. Do we want to provide tents and sleeping bags? And then it's turnkey. And they're like this, like really? Like no food, no anything? No, all you got to do is get on the ferry and come to us. And they like that idea. Because when I was a Scoutmaster back in the 70s, not a master, but I was in a Boy Scout troop. The biggest headache for the leader was coordinating all this stuff and getting all this stuff on the boat, getting it out there, and not losing. So we're trying to streamline that. So
I was one of the Boy Scouts that planted the pine tree.
there we go. Okay, good.
In 1967.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good.
I know exactly.
So you're gonna volunteer then? That's good.
Hey, we got a couple of your trees we'd like
That's
to cut
right,
down. We like to get you
cut
back
down
out there now.
That's right. Yeah, we're clearing. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
clearing. We're clearing a section out for archery range. So, yeah, that's another little program we're going to add. So,
And I know a lot of y'all, almost everybody who's been to the Cape, it, what Gary's bringing up about trying to provide material, you almost have to hit the beach like Eisenhower hit Omaha Beach
That's right.
for a day. I mean, because of so much you need. So the idea behind that is that, with the Boy Scouts, if we can take so much of that burden off, that it would be easier for the groups to come and go. I mean, we'll have throw nets, things, fishing rods, things that just clutter your boat to death. I mean, it takes half a day to unload.
And our classroom's about this size out there, air conditioned. So, and
So I thought you just had the big old Coast Guard building.
we have the building, and they had a galley attached to it, and it was their basic where they had supper, breakfast, lunch, dinner. They had a porch to it, but the porch was falling in. We took that off, and we put a deck with cover. We're going to have sail covers over it for sun and stuff in the summer. And basically, both of those complexes are now being renovated through us. And we got like 5 acres, I think, 5 acres of land, around it, and also everything inside the fence. There's a white fence around it. We're rehabbing basically everything out there. And we got into it, and we looked at each other like, what have we done, kind of thing, because it was an absolute mess. And this is from a program standpoint. They're all into it, and I'm amazed. I know we're going to have the best. The solar. I've never met solar like these guys that put this stuff in, but Solar Ethics, everything they do is solar. Their watches are solar. Their travel trailers are solar. Their TVs are solar. I mean, I was just like, I'm like this, like, holy mackerel. They have everything on the truck, and these guys, know the kilowatts that we have to have and the power that we have to have, and I trust them. They're really going to get it done, which I'm very excited about. Very excited about.
Got a good well?
Yes, we do.
You do?
We sure do. That's a whole nother ball game.
Just had it tested.
Just had it tested.
Just
Everything.
had it tested, and the only thing came back on it was the water's a little hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up with hard water, so we may put a water softener in. That's, like I said, it's one more system you have to maintain out there. But we're basically going to be using the same shallow well that the Coast Guard used for years out there. They had shallow wells over time.
A lot.
The deep wells have so much sulfur in
We
them.
have a septic system, so yeah.
So, but we had Carteret County came out. And we did the full blown, the $450 test, send it all around. It came back. Water came back extremely good, and then in the meantime, we will be using probably Culligan's 5-gallon water jugs just for additional. The reason we want that is because we don't want everybody bringing a plastic bottle out there.
Right.
You can bring a Yeti, and you can fill it up, but if you take it out, you take it back. We don't, and that's one of the things we want to eliminate. And so,
or it's got to be aluminum.
But once we put in a reverse osmosis system, we're still looking for a good system. We'll be able to take that water. And of course, the water that's coming out of the ground now, the Coast Guard drank it for 50 years, didn't seem to hurt anybody. But we would like to take it one more step. And reverse osmosis has gotten pretty well run of the mill now for doing so. That way we'll be sure that people come in and then just fill up your water bottle anytime you want. And so, plastic bottle takes up so much room in the trash can. We're trying to emphasize to everybody.
And it's not good.
Where a lot of people come out and they say, "Where's the trash can?" I said, "Well, you brought it out. You can bring it back. It's even lighter now." So, but just
how many people did the Coast Guard have out there? And where I'm going with this is, how much water can your well make when a bunch of 13-year-olds want to
Easily.
well,
Tell her, bud.
Well, it's my belief. I didn't know Chief Styrne was out there. Farmer Styrne was a chief when I was running the Diamond City out, and I think they had 2 crews of 16, and they rotated them. Does that
Mhm.
sound about right, Mayor Francis?
I remember Jack Davis.
Right.
That was a long time ago.
And
I can't remember, he's coming
Yeah.
down that hill.
they had 3 bunk beds in. They might have had 4 bunk beds in there, so but I think they could accommodate upstairs over 30 some people. And I remember he had 2 crews, and Farmerstown was very good about rotating those crews so that they all had good time off. And the shallow well that we have out there, there's nothing around it. We've got an aquifer of probably 10
3 of 'em.
acres.
Yeah.
Nobody else is drawing from it, and so we're not anticipating, that being a system. The Park Service, not the Park Service, but the Coast Guard had cisterns out there, 2 different cisterns. One they had set up, I believe, for firefighting, and then the other for drinking, which they had from the roof, and they abandoned those years ago. So, and so they were out there 24 hours a day. So we do want to have
And
an
they're
outdoor
full.
show. Yeah.
And they're full.
Yeah.
They're full.
We really would like to be sure that we have cold showers outside for the kids to rinse off so they don't use a whole lot.
That's
Of
right.
course, you're in the water, 8 months out of the year, almost you don't have to worry about hot water. But we will have hot water. But that is a very good question because,
I like that.
how deep is the water? How big is that lens that floats on there? But Keith was out there when he was out there, and he had several times had groups in the 20s, and he said he never ran short of water, ever.
So it's funny you said that because I've already asked them that. And they said, well, yeah, on top of that, we're just going to drill another well, and I went, okay. So we have a totally separate.
Yeah, we have a
well.
separate well that's separate, that the water we can use, but we have to treat that a little more. But the water is really good for washing your feet off and that sort of thing. It's not potable,
Yeah.
but the potable level, what we drank as kids, they would now say would probably kill you.
Yeah, that's right.
They would say you're
Here we are. That's right.
we all grew up drinking out of hoses and that sort of thing.
3
So,
pages of tests, and we're like, wow, let's call Randall.
Both the wells we got out of there, Brooks and I have been drinking out of both of them.
Yeah, I know.
But we're on. There's just so much technology now for cleaning up water that it's fun. So we will have a backup deep well that we're working with Culligan with at the moment. Then there's a national company that Ecoethics was getting us up with. They've also interested in putting in the equipment. I don't think we're going to have a chlorination system, but we can't. Keith had one at one time, and he tested the water for 2 years, and then they finally said, you don't need to test it anymore. The water's fine. So, but we will do whatever we need to on that. But like I say, in the meantime, until we get all that solved, we'll be bringing the 5-gallon jugs out from Culligan. I'm going to ask them for a discount today. I'm hoping to.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
A local geology department at any of the colleges, you can trade them, and they do an aquifer test, and they tell you
Absolutely.
how many gallons per minute.
Oh, great idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dave said he would do that.
It would be.
Be good to know.
That's like the demand water heater people when they came to our house and I said, your grand says, you'll never run out of hot water. I said, that's not what I want.
That's right.
I want them to run out of hot water
that's
so
right.
they stop using it.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
What can everybody here come out and see our project sometime? If y'all let us know, we'd be glad to meet you and show you what we're doing and explain.
You had to get on beach shuttle,
Yeah,
but we can make that happen.
yeah.
So
So
we got a ladder to get it up on the back. So that's even better.
Would it have to be a group thing?
no,
No,
we can.
no.
I think I saw you going back and forth day after day after day a couple of years ago when I was volunteering at the Keeper's Court.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that guy doing here?
Yeah,
Again.
yeah,
What's
that's
that
right,
guy
that's
doing?
right.
If any of y'all, we're still in construction phase.
Yeah, we're still
And
in
so
construction.
if anybody
so
wants
we're
to
not-
come out
yeah.
and see, as far as people making contributions to the Cape, I've told everybody, and they said, well, here, let me have. I said, no, you got to see it. I don't want you to make a contribution until you see it. And so, because then you'll see what's going on. I hate to somebody give money and say, well, I didn't understand that. So you got to see what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so far, virtually everybody I've taken out had
Well,
seen it. They
100%.
said you're doing so much more than I thought. I just thought you had a cabin out here. I said, no, we're trying to do this right. And
So
so
when do you think you'll be, finished enough to have people for tonight and, I mean, really up and running 100% as opposed to just day trips? I mean, like to spend the night.
2027.
Yeah,
27?
Now we
might get early.
you keep running into snags with, we put a sprinkler system in, which
Didn't have to.
we didn't have to. We put in handicap ramps. We didn't have to. We put in a handicap bathroom. We didn't have to. There's been some real mission creep on this, but we decided if we're down to that level, and Wayne sprinkler system out of Raleigh has just been great, and so we have what's called a residential sprinkler system installed in there. So it's designed to get people out of the building.
So if you can imagine this building right here, and it is totally stripped on the inside, all the way back down to the studs. That's what we've done out there.
Okay.
And we're totally rebuilding the entire structure. Because then you get there and you go, well, we don't like the wiring. So we rip the wiring out. Well, we don't really like the plumbing. Rip the plumbing out. And then, some of my girls in my family said, well, I'm not going to go downstairs and use the restroom at 10 o'clock at night. All right, so Mason and Bud come up and said, okay, well, we're just going to put bathrooms in every bedroom. And I said, the girls are probably going to like that when you got your own private bath. And that's where it just kept on going. So, but, their attention to detail, plus we don't have to do it twice. That's something that we always say to each other. But, I want to do it once. I don't want to do this twice. I don't know if I got twice in me anymore. So,
and one of our biggest challenge, one of the reasons we got a little bit of a later start going was our biggest challenge in the beginning was that we had 30,000 pounds of plaster covered with lead paint. And so we once again talked Park Service to them. They said, well, you don't have to take it out, although half of it was on the floor. But John Gallagher, who's an environmental engineer, friend of ours, a big windsurfer, paddleboard on the Cape, does a tremendous amount of brownfield. He said, but the lead level for kids has already dropped, and it's dropped again to 10 years old. He said, you cover this up 10 years, someone's going to come in and say, hey, you still got this. He said, take it all out. So Axios Environmental, which is one of the top environmental companies in the state from Raleigh, sent people down, and we negative pressured the building.
Alonzo.
And
I'll never forget that name either.
Took it all out. And then the off-road group from Havelock, the Ware put together, they came out there with an army of trucks and kids and little wagon stuff, and we got over 30,000 pounds of into bags and off the island in 2 days.
Using Island Ferry Express.
No asbestos, no lead.
If it's there, we ripped it out.
We got it. We had
because it went from my standpoint, because I don't know, I'm not a professional, but it went from red to green. And I love seeing green instead of red. And red means no.
And that was one of the things that Jeff West said right up front. He said,
it's a mess.
Because of that lead level for kids, he said, you really need to get that. So that's the first thing. That was a big hit right up front. That was a hit that we hadn't anticipated. But once again, you just could not do it.
Welcome to building old houses.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. On an island.
Yeah. we can't burn it down and collect insurance. We got to deal with what we got.
That's right. That's exactly right.
How did you get it off the island?
That was quite a challenge.
Yeah.
Let Gary could tell you that.
We put it on trailers, and we took it down to Les Sal's dock, and the ferry boat would meet us there, and we'd have volunteers with, wheelbarrows, tractors, and we put them in bags. We wrapped them in these sealable bags that the alloy gave us, so nothing would spill out, and then we put it on the ferry, took it down to the visitor center. One of our board members is Harkaway Dumpsters. I'll give a shout out, right?
Yeah.
Harkaway Dumpster. So all of a sudden the dumpster appeared right there next to where the boat was going to dock, and we threw it away, and we kept doing that all day long. And I was pretty tired that night. I was.
That was a major accomplishment. I'll have to say, of all the things we've had to do, that was, and it was also the most rewarding because at that point,
we were
it's
in
done.
it. We're in.
We're in. We're ready to go.
Yeah, that's right.
And you said new piping, new water pipes?
Plumbing, everything.
Okay.
Everything's brand new.
You feel it there?
There's no lead paint.
We rented it all out. All the,
No lead
all,
pipes and
yeah,
no-
all
No
the
lead
all the
paint.
old boilers and all the. I
Did
mean,
you have asbestos on the boilers?
that was already gone.
yeah, that was already gone. Yeah,
and
that was already
the
gone.
floor tiles were asbestos, so they were the 8-inch. The Park Service had already taken those out.
Yeah.
We only had
And
asbestos.
there was like 8 layers of that. So it's like
in the attic. They had one. The amount of asbestos that they took out was so small that they put it in 2 bags and
Yeah.
hauled it off in their trailer.
yeah, that's right.
And so, but we had them checked.
Because
I mean,
they had a
they
certified
checked-
trailer. So
Yeah,
we're gonna put
they
it in
took
their trailer.
everything out.
they did.
So
Have you documented this entire process?
we
We
think
sure
so.
have. We
We've
think
taken
so.
a lot of pictures, and we've our webpage, CapeLookoutFoundation.org.
Mm-hmm.
You can look up, and we're showing the history of what we're doing and programs, and not to be confused with Save the Cape Foundation. We're the Cape. We're separate. They're sort of a promotion for the Cape, whereas we're more of a do things on the Cape. But you can pull up our webpage and see what's going on, and then we just had the groups that were out there. That's on the webpage, and what we're trying to do and how we're moving ahead with that. So
And we have to stop. You got to stop and think about it. Think about taking photos. Get everybody together to take the photo. We're all like little ants running all over the property. So I know I get some. Yeah, every now and then I have people say, "Why are you taking photos?" And I didn't think about taking photos. We're trying to get this big thing off the beach. You have to drive it down the beach for an hour. You have to drive it all the way down to Davis to get it off. So, or the ferry boat. So it's like one of the two.
yeah, Mac Best down at Davis running the ferry service. Mac's been great to deal with.
Yeah,
He's been
good guy. He's
extremely
helped us.
helpful about helping us with programs and coordinating ferries and bringing stuff over for
Throws
us. So,
Oswald, yeah. Same
yeah,
guy.
I mean, we've just been really pleased with
Everybody helping us.
people helping. So we think of ourselves as an inclusive group, not exclusive.
Yeah, that's right.
So, or if we exceeded our bottom time here on this, or you run out of film,
Okay.
If one of us were trying to explain to our friends what y'all are doing out there, what would we tell them? Tell us our missions.
tell them to get on the ferry and come see us and
Yeah,
let us
you know,
show
if
it.
Eric come get us,
Yeah.
or call
Yeah.
252-670-8823.
Yeah, just tell them to come out either by boat or.
Tell me
And that's my phone right there. That's where it goes.
Well, the webpage would be the first thing to do. Is to go to
Yeah.
CapeLookoutFoundation.org.
Yeah,
That would be the best thing, and then their phone numbers over there to call.
make a phone number. They calling me.
And then anybody that wanted to come out and see, you just need to let us know, and if we can, we'll pick you up. If you're lucky,
Yeah.
we'll have subs that day. We'll feed you.
That's right.
We've got-
Yeah.
We've got water, but the main thing is we got air conditioning. We've got a place
huge.
that's huge, just for the people working out there to be able to get out of the heat.
Yeah, last
And
Wednesday.
Randall will talk about that. I mean, heat exhaustion is a terrible thing.
I would just say we're preserving our heritage. This is a time sensitive project.
That's exactly
And
right.
not for Bud, 10-year, 15-year endeavor to get just permanent to do this.
20.
20.
So unlike other things you might do, if you didn't do this, it would fall down. And once it falls down, the National Park Service, which is budget constrained, it'd be gone. So like anything that is affected by the elements, you only have a certain period of time to preserve it. So whatever goes forth with this, as far as community involvement, things like that, because for many people, the Cape is a spiritual place.
Mm-hmm.
It's where their families came from. There's
Mm-hmm.
a tremendous sense of community, especially down east, to the Cape itself. So I would argue that in a county that's 300 years old and very much has an appreciation for its history, being 300 years old, it's really, really important that a private entity preserve our heritage, because it was not future good purposes.
Aren't we glad we got a smart person like Randall?
You know, something. But anyway, if you're interested in programs, contact us.
Yeah.
I'm the gatekeeper
Yeah.
for all the programs. So
And Randall's right. There's a tremendous amount of history, starting with Verrazzano doing exploration. There's a historic marker on Cape Lookout when he came up. Almost all explorers followed the route of Columbus. They left Europe, went to the Azores, came across, tried to miss the Sagasta Sea, came up through the Bahamas, the Virgin Islands, came back, came into the hook of Cape Lookout, whatever was there, and took off back to Europe to not get up at Hatteras and get in the current up there to get the Gulf Stream and take across. So all the early explorers came, and you read their logs, the problems that they had, that none of them had an anchor. They would work in sand and the barnacles. And so Randall's really hitting on it. There's just so much history that, and the Outer Banks people are involved with stuff that if you don't preserve it, it just gets lost. It's
it'll
gone.
go away. That's
So,
exactly right.
and it's a heritage of so many of these of the kids down east. I mean, the whaling villages, the what they did during World War I and World War II. A good example is, do y'all know Ty Highsmith?
Yeah.
Okay. It was his great uncle that set the charge to blow up the lighthouse so the Yankees couldn't use it. And he lit the fuse and took off, realizing he'd left his hat, and ran back and got his hat, and all it did was blow the top off. It ended up like a big cannon. So. But there's just a lot of stories like that I just, fisherman stories, storms that,
And that's what caught my attention. And I know sure Bud and Mason, but when you looked at the house, like it just needed help. I mean, golly, or we're going to lose it, And yeah, I hear that all the time, But it was just disintegrating, and so we looked at each other and said, well, we need to make this happen, and it's happening. So preserving the history, and we're going to leave it better than we found it. That's one of my sayings. You always leave it better than you found it, and that's what our goal is, and to let everybody know, because the kids that we took out there Wednesday, they were just floored because they've never seen anything. They've never seen anything like it. And then it got hot, really, really hot, about 2. And then we walked into the air conditioning into the galley, and everybody perked back up again. They were like, wow, this is great. And then going home on the ferry, everybody was asleep. So that's
It's a great value add to the county. As I described for him, we're a blue collar community that transitioned from blue collar fishing and things like that. Now we can really move to hospitality. 40% of the homes are second homes in the whole county. So we certainly have a large community. Most of us have 2 boats. So we're true to boating community as opposed to other places like in Barnesville, Louisiana. You don't have the water we do, of course, boat sound and back sound. And so anything that we put in the county that is a destination site, Shackleford, Cape Lookout, this, is very much an economic driver for the county. We sell our history, both is a Fort Macon. So those are all things that if you're just into dollars and cents, it also really helps the county.
there we go.
We look forward to seeing y'all out there.
Look forward to seeing y'all out there.
Thanks, Randall.
Well done.
All right,
Randall,
man.
thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you, Captain.
You gonna edit that stuff?
Say again?
You're gonna edit, right?
No, absolutely not.
I don't know how you put it on.
You just clipped on.
Oh, clip it on.
Yes, sir. There you go. You're good to go.